Did you know that you can get access to tens of thousands or possibly even hundreds of thousands of dollars of your own money that you may not even know that you have? It's completely true, and I'll be telling you exactly how you can do that in this video. In most instances, it is completely free to get set up, and it does not take much time at all. Again, I get it. It sounds way too good to be true, but trust me, it is not, and I will walk you through this exactly how you can get it in this video, so let's get into it right away. But welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new or if you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can continue to help you out with videos just like this going forward. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Let's get right into it. So this is actually a product that you can get from any bank, credit union, or basically any other financial institution out there. In fact, these are usually free to get set up, and it's just a matter of filling out a little bit of paperwork, and then you're pretty much good to go. It does not take much time at all, and you can unlock potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars of money that you may not even recognize that you have. Let's get into it, and I'll tell you exactly what this is. It is called a home equity line of credit, otherwise known as Heloc, H-E-L-O-C. Now you might be wondering, okay, this sounds really good, but I'm still confused. What is this Heloc thing you're talking about? Let me explain it to you. It's a little bit confusing when we use a home as an example. So I'm going to use a different analogy that will make perfect sense to everybody listening to this because everybody knows what I'm about to talk about. And all we need to do is translate that into a home, and it's literally the exact same thing. It's a really cool concept. And realistically, this is a really, really cool product. All right, let's get into this and talk about it a little bit further. I'm going to use an analogy of a credit card. Everybody knows what a credit card is, right? All right, so a HELOC, home equity line of credit, works in the exact same way as a credit card. Let me talk you through this a little bit further now. So let's just say, for example, you open up a new credit card with your favorite credit card holder. Doesn't matter who it is. Literally, they're all pretty much the exact same. So you open up a credit card, and when you get your new card, it says that you have a credit line of $5,000. Again, your credit line could be $500, it could be $5,000, it could be $50,000, or anywhere in between, or even way more than that. I'm just using $5,000 as an example for this video. So you get your credit card, it's brand new, nice and shiny, just waiting to be used, and you have $5,000 in a credit line that you can go out and spend. Now, again, I would not advise going to spend all that money, okay? I'm not giving you financial advice at all. I'm just simply giving this as an example, okay? All right, let's keep going. So you have this brand new shiny credit card, a $5,000 credit line. Therefore, you can go out and if you just so choose, you could spend $1 of the available $5,000 of credit, or you could go, a little bit wild and you could spend all $5,000. Now, what are they going to ask of you going forward? Are they going to ask for you to pay it all back tomorrow? No, they're not. In fact, they're not going to ask that at all. In a few weeks from then, they're going to ask you to pay back a small portion of it. They're basically going to send you a bill and say, here's your bill. You owe, whatever the amount is. Maybe it's $1, maybe it's $5,000, or any amount in between. And they're going to say, here's what we need from you. We need to get a minimum payment of, whatever it happens to be, maybe $50 if it's all $5,000 you spent. They'll need to get $50, and then they'll probably tack on a little bit of interest. And then going forward, if you don't pay off the entire balance, they'll just continue to send you those bills every single month and say, please, we need a minimum payment, and we're going to tack on some interest. That's basically how this whole process works. It's the exact same thing when it comes to a home equity line of credit, which is exactly what we're talking about in this video. So it is literally a line of credit, just like a credit card. You can go out and use your credit card anytime that you want. You can go out and spend $100 on the card. You could pay it off tomorrow, the entire $100, and then your credit line is once again repopulated back to the $5,000. Let me explain this a little bit further just because it's a little bit confusing. I totally get it. So let me give you another example really quickly. So let's go back to that credit card example. You have a credit line of $5,000. You don't have any money on the card at the time. Let's say you go to the grocery store and you spend $100 on groceries. You pull out your card and you use it to pay for the groceries. Okay, cool. Now your credit line has dropped down to $4,900 because you're carrying a $100 balance on the card until you pay it off. Let's say tomorrow you get paid from whatever kind of payment you get, maybe from your job or some kind of other benefit or something. You get paid and you take your $100 from your paycheck or from your pay, whatever, and you pay off your card. Therefore, you've paid the $100 back to the card, and then your credit line goes back up to $5,000. Therefore, it is once again available for you. You can spend, again, $1, $5,000, or any amount in between. Okay, now you get it. I just wanted to explain that a little bit further because once we get into the Heloc analogy, then it gets a little bit more confusing. All right, cool. You understand the whole credit line thing. You pay it back whenever you want. You take out as much as you want up to the credit line. You can use any amount in between, pay it back as you desire, right? And if you don't pay it back all right away, they're just going to ask you for a little bit of interest. Okay, fine. Makes sense. Simple as that. All right. Now let's apply this to a Heloc, a home equity line of credit. Okay. So a Heloc, a home equity line of credit, is literally the exact same thing as how a credit card works. However, your credit line is actually against your house. Okay, now that sounds a little bit scary, right? But realistically, it's not that scary. You just got to be responsible. But here's the thing. I imagine if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty responsible. Let's just be real. You're responsible. I don't have any doubt with that at all. But here's the thing. So the Heloc works just like a credit line on a credit card. So basically what they do is they look at your home and they look at how much equity you have in your home. Let's look at this for example. Let's say that you have a home that is worth $100,000. Okay, $100,000, and you own it free and clear. You have $100,000 of equity in the home. Nice, congratulations. Or let's use the same example. You still own that same home. You have, it's appraised at $100,000, but you have a $50,000 mortgage on the property. Therefore, you have $50,000 of equity in that house. Again, congratulations. That's a lot of money. 50 grand is a lot of money. Seriously, that's a lot of money to a lot of people. All right, so here's the thing. You could go to a bank, a credit union, a financial institution, and you could get a Heloc, a home equity line of credit. Here's how this process works. You go there and you sit down and you fill out a little bit of paperwork. They're going to look at some different paperwork and some different numbers on you, like your personal, your credit score, things like that. They're going to look at all that stuff against you. And then they're going to look at the appraisal of your home. So basically, they're going to send somebody out to appraise your home and see what it's actually worth. The appraiser is going to come back and say, hey, I agree, it is worth $100,000. Well, remember, in these examples, you either have $100,000 of equity or maybe you have a mortgage and you have maybe $50,000 of equity. Again, you could have any amount of equity. It doesn't really matter. I'm just using these as an example. Okay. So then the bank comes back and says, congratulations, it's been appraised at $100,000. We will give you a loan to value of 80%. In other words, let's just say we're using the example of your home being completely paid off and it's worth $100,000. It appraises at 100 grand and they say they'll give you a loan to value Heloc of 80%. In other words, they'll give you a Heloc of $80,000. Therefore, they're basically just giving you a credit card against your house of $80,000. Does this make sense? Does it seem to be getting a little bit exciting right now? Yes. So here's how this works. Again, after filling out a little bit of paperwork, again, most banks and credit unions will set these things up completely for free in most situations. However, sometimes there are some fees that associate with it. I would search around. If you're interested in doing something like this, I would call around to a bunch of different banks and or credit unions in your area before you just go with one because most times they are completely free to set these things up. So here's the thing. You go through a little bit of paperwork and then they give you this credit line. So basically it is just like a credit card against your house. So you now have $80,000, again, in this example, $80,000, which is a loan to value of 80% against a house that is appraising of $100,000. So now you can take this money and you can spend it in any way that you choose, just like a credit card. You could take $1 out and spend it. You could take all $80,000 out and spend it or do whatever you want with it. Or you could take out any amount in between. Now, here's the thing. Each and every month, they're going to continue to send you a bill and say, we need the interest payment on this. So here's the thing that's cool about a Heloc. For the most part, they will send you a principal payment as well. So when they send you a bill, they'll want some principal back, right, of that principal, but then they'll also tack on some interest. But If you can't pay the principal back, in most instances, you just need to pay the interest back, right? So even if you can't pay the principal, all they want back is their interest, right? Just in order to get to secure that HELOC for you. So this is a cool way that you can tap into literally tens of thousands, or based on the appraisal price of your home, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity in your home, right? So this is actually a really cool thing where you can get that money. It's basically a line of credit. I mean, it's literally all it is. It's a line of credit, just like a credit card, where you can use that money on anything that you desire. There are no rules on what you can use that money on. You could pull it all out and use it to remodel your home. You could pull it all out and you could buy a car. You could invest the money. You can whatever you want. Again, this is not financial advice at all. I'm just letting you know what is possible with a HELOC, home equity line of credit. So again, you can take the money out today. You could spend $5,000 today, and you could come back tomorrow and pay back the entire $5,000. It doesn't matter. You can draw from the account as much as you want, and you can pay back the account as much as you want. Now, one more note. I just want to mention this because every financial institution, every bank, every credit union, everybody out there has their own set of rules and restrictions, things like this. I would check into your specific bank or financial institution, whoever you're working with to secure a HELOC, and just make sure that there's no penalties on prepayment. Sometimes they sneak that into the fine print where they say, prepayment, there's a penalty. Okay, so just check that out. Be very aware of that. But in most cases, from these that I've researched, there aren't any penalties on that. You can take it out today, pay it all back tomorrow. Take it out today, pay it all back in 5 weeks. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter, but they will be asking for interest along the way for as much money as you have coming out of there. Here's another cool thing about HELOCs. The interest rate on a HELOC is relatively very low. A lot of times it's about maybe 1.5%, 2%, maybe 3%. That's about it. It's very, very low, especially right now in this environment where we have very low interest rates. I don't know, just kind of cool. It's a way that you can access a lot of money really quickly with not much effort on your part at all. You can have it set aside where you can access it if you need to. Otherwise, if you don't need it, obviously don't draw on it. But if you need it, it's nice to know that you have, $10,000 or $50,000 of equity in this line of credit available to you if you just so need to draw on it, right? Just like a credit card. So anyway, hope this helps you out, but I wanted to lay this out there for you. It is absolutely true. You can do it. Feel free to do your own research if you want to. It is called, once again, HELOC, Home Equity Line of Credit, HELOC. It's an acronym. HELOC, it's an acronym. So check it out. If you own a home and you have some equity, this could be a really cool way that you could access literally a lot of money really, really quickly that you could use for whatever you desire. So again, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form at all. I'm simply laying out this option to you. If you want to explore it, feel free to do so. If you want to do your own research, again, I would advise you to do your own research. Otherwise, you can get this from basically any bank, financial institution, or credit union out there. Pretty easily, you can secure one of these things. So, hope this helps you out. Thanks again for watching. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe right down below the video. Share this one with your friends, family, social media. And of course, go back and check out any of the other videos right here on the channel. Thanks again. I appreciate it. And I'll see you again.